Hello there, saber fans. Today I'm going to do a review of yet another modification that I've done on my double-bladed staff. And at this point, I've actually lost count of how many times I have made, complete revamps onto this saber. And, I'm always like, hey, I'm really happy with this, but I legitimately, I'm really happy with this, and hopefully this modification stays. So most recently, I had this decked out in a lot of copper, and, I'll go ahead and link that video in my description. But what I found is that copper tape kind of, it wasn't really ideal for going over the outside edge. It's great for doing like in these little recess sections. You got to make sure to just kind of super glue that last bit down so that it doesn't kind of start to peel. But I didn't want to have that as just kind of an accent to this. So I went ahead and just stripped all that out. That's another reason why I love some of these tapes. And of course, this is a copper tape right here, which I've done on just this switch section because this is actually black, but I did want this to be mostly silver. And so I went ahead and did that. I also ended up switching the emitters because I have another staff that I just reviewed that the emitters that I had on this were actually better on that, and these emitters lined up perfectly with this. So it seemed like the Force was telling me that these were the emitters that I need to have on this lightsaber. So I want to do a bit of an in-depth breakdown, just like I did on my Antares video, but just kind of what modifications I've done. This saber in particular kind of combines a lot of different techniques that I have implemented on different sabers over the years. So first thing we'll break down, we'll go from basically the pommel up. So you'll notice that these pommels look a little different, and that's because this is actually an Ultra Saber's quick release coupler. So this part here is spring loaded, and ta-da! So you can just quickly go between staff and paired. And most of this saber, including the core, is actually an LGT core. This piece is LGT, the switch section, this little extension here, they're all LGT, which is not compatible with Ultra Sabers. But the Custom Saber Shop actually has these extensions. Now underneath this brown wrap, and this brown wrap is just brown electric tape, simple. But underneath this is just the same kind of aluminum as this, and it is compatible with this. And what I did was I took an extension, an LGT extension. Now this piece is only about that long underneath here. And I took some of this clear weld and basically permanently affixed it. So this piece and this are solidly one piece, and I'll show you that. So essentially, as you can see, this piece right here and this piece, these are solidly one piece, and I've just screwed in that pommel. But of course, this is the board, and this particular board is the crimson core. Let me put this back on. So moving up to hilt, I already kind of mentioned how I just took some of this chrome tape and put it on over here. At first, I wasn't sure that I was going to like kind of the mixture of textures, because really, there's about 4 different types of silver on this. So you've got just the regular brushed aluminum here. I'm trying to get as close to this, but actually this piece used to all be black, but I actually sanded the anodizing over it and polished it the best that I could, but it is a little bit of a duller silver. Same thing with, this piece here. This whole emitter used to be black as well, but I sanded down some of the brushed aluminum, or the anodizing, so that I could expose the silver underneath. And then you got the chrome, so there's your 4th. And then on this Emitter Shroud, I have 2 different types of silver, because this is actually just a PVC pipe bit that I cut down. And then I sprayed it silver, and then once that was cured, and I probably should have waited a little bit longer, but I went ahead and put in some of this liquid chrome, and I drew on these designs. And I think it's nice and subtle. I think there's a couple areas where it's not quite perfect, but just, a cursory look, I think it definitely achieves what I was going for. And then, of course, just drilled a couple holes so that I could put these 2 screws in. Now, both screws do go in and touch the blade, but you'll notice just underneath the red one, there's a bit of a rubber band, because Since this is the higher one, I wanted it to be the one that really holds the blade in. I also needed it to hold the shroud in. So that little bit of a rubber band allows enough pressure to push this shroud down and then still be able to push down so that this is really pushing the blade so that the blade's not going to come out. But if I need the blade to come out, just do a little unscrew there, a little unscrew there. Ta-da! And I do also have, these blades are of course Photon Blades. They convert blue light to bright green. And these emitters house a 1-inch outer diameter, which is what this piece is here. But I really like the 7/8 inch outer diameter because these are shorter blades. They're only 28 inches. Just because I feel like shorter blades are more appropriate for staffs and for paired lightsabers. But I like the look that this has where the blade's not quite touching the inside of the emitter. But you just put that in, tighten that screw, tighten that one down, and you're good to go. I hope you guys enjoy that breakdown. One of the things that I really like about this saber, in addition to it being able to be paired or a staff, and that's kind of what my Jedi cosplay character goes with, but just the mixture of colors and textures, I didn't think I was going to like. I'm typically more, I like things that match. But I think that this gives it more of a realism to it, or something that looks a little bit more like canon, where you've got the different kinds of textures. You get this really reflective mirrored chrome, but then you've got this dull silver. You get the little bits of black. Of course, I love these choke points. Are fantastic for this saber, and it's very well balanced. And then, the leather wrap. I was going to take this off and do black electric tape, but I felt like that was going to be a little bit too much black. And I think it adds something having that little bit of a different color to it. And of course that makes that grip really well, especially when I have a staff. So the middle right here is pretty much where I grab it when it's in a staff. But I hope you guys enjoy, and I hope maybe this encourages you guys to do your own do-it-yourself modifications. And may the Force be with you.